Today's video, I'm going to tell you guys of how you can be able to formulate broiler feeds for your chicken. This usually comes whereby you find that you have kept broilers on your poultry farm and maybe you want to cut down some cost on the production. So you want to formulate the feeds and be able to sell your broilers off only in 42 days. So even if you use this method, you can try and be able to sell them off at as early as 35 days. So guys, stay tuned so that you can be able to know how you'll be able to formulate feeds that can be able to make your broilers be sold off at the age of 35 days. Most people usually ask me, is it able or can he or she be able to feed such chicken? This chicken, the better part with this chicken, as I said, this chicken can be kept for both eggs and meat. So if this chicken can be kept for both eggs and meat, this means that you can either decide to rear them for meat or you can decide to rear them for the eggs. So when you decide to formulate such a feed and you're able to give such chicken such feeds, then this chicken can be able to mature in only 2.5 months. 2.5 months, how many weeks are those? Those are only 10 weeks of age. Instead of you waiting up to between 12 to 14 weeks of age before they become mature and ready to be eaten, when you feed them the broiler feed, they can be ready even as early as 8 to 9 weeks of age. Then they will be around 1.5 to 1.8 kgs. Then you can be able to sell them off. So it's upon your choice to decide if you really need such a breed. Then you can be able to use it for both the broiler part and also as a layer. And the benefit of it, as I've said in most of my videos, is that if you keep it as a layer, it can be able to give you fertilized eggs, which is 2 times the price of the commercial layer eggs. So guys, if you really need to know how you can be able to formulate those feeds, make sure you stay tuned. And something just I want to reiterate here is out of the topic, but I want to tell you because I learned it somewhere else. Because I realized there is this vaccine known as Newcastle vaccine. Okay? Newcastle vaccine. So when you are giving your chicken Newcastle vaccine, the main essence of you giving the Newcastle vaccine to a chicken is that you want to prevent the Newcastle disease from attacking your flock. So you end up using different strains of vaccine when you're giving it to a chicken, so as it can be able to prevent those diseases from attacking your poultry farm. But in the real sense, as I read, that the vaccine, what it only prevents, it doesn't prevent the chicken from getting attacked by the Newcastle. What it only prevents the symptoms of the Newcastle disease not being able to be exhibited properly. So when it suppresses the disease, when the disease tries to attack the chicken, the vaccine usually tries and suppresses it, so it doesn't show the symptoms. For example, if it is for the laying hens, you may end up finding out that the poop is okay, everything on the chicken's body is okay, but you end up finding out that they can have soft-shelled eggs. So when you find out that the chicken has soft-shelled eggs, you may think that maybe these chicken are lacking calcium, and you end up increasing the calcium levels in the feed and also increasing the sodium bicarbonate so that it can be able to absorb the calcium. But in the real sense, they may be attacked by the Newcastle disease. So that is what I just wanted to put across so that you guys cannot get into confusion, because most people usually get into confusion and they really don't know what they are treating on their poultry farm. So in this video, I will explain everything from how you can make the broiler starter mash up to the broiler finisher mash on your own. Then you can be able to save a lot of money. So I want to be able to read it so that I can be able to give you something that is detailed and is correct to point. I don't want to guess, to pretend that I am Einstein, then I won't give you the right quantities, and that can mess you big time. So I want to head straight into my phone, then I can get the right requirements, the right ingredients for your feed, so that you can be able to know the type of ingredients that you need in the formulation of this feed. And also, for those that haven't watched my other video on how you can be able to make proper chicken feeds, those are the layers feeds, make sure you watch it so that you can be able to know the importance of each ingredient that I will highlight in this video, because in that video I was able to explain everything in a broader spectrum to be able, each ingredient with each benefit in the poultry. So that is what I told in that video. So let's head into the poultry coop so that we can be able to change the environment a bit, and I can be able to explain to you how you can be able to formulate the broiler starter mash, then also the broiler finisher mash. So how, guys, can you be able to formulate 100 kgs of broiler starter mash? The chicken are making a lot of noise, so I want you guys to get me very properly. How can you be able to formulate 100 kg of broiler starter mash? First, you need whole maize 40.32 kgs, soybean meal 29 kgs, wheat 9 kgs, rice polish 7 kgs, meat and bone meal 7.8 kgs, salt 300 grams, methionine 200 grams, lysine 30 grams, broiler premix 250 grams, palm stroke canola oil 3.5 kgs, DCP dicalcium phosphate 2.5 kgs, the choline chloride 100 grams. And as we know, the function of the choline chloride is be able to prevent paralysis and also to prevent the chicken from getting swollen around the knee area. So that is why you need it, because in the broiler chicken they tend to grow up very, very fast. So other organs don't grow properly, they don't develop very properly. So that's why we need the choline chloride to be able to add the strength in the chicken's bones. Okay, so that is one that you need to do. And also, before I go to tell you on how you can be able to make the broiler 100 kgs of broiler finisher mash, is that if you are rearing such chicken, this chicken, you can show them. If you are rearing this kind of chicken on your poultry farm, and maybe you want them to give you eggs, and you decide that you are giving them the broiler feed, just know that not all parts of the body of the chicken, the organs, will be able to develop properly. So this, so that chicken is thinking that I'm a roasting patch. That's very funny. So you may end up thinking that this chicken will be able to give you eggs, so you want them to grow up very properly. But remember, a chicken must reach a certain age for it to be able to give you eggs. So even if you try to give it that broiler mash so that it can become very, very fat faster, and you may think that it will be able to give you the eggs at a very early stage, then you are wrong. Because if you give it, even when you decide to give it too much protein, most of it will just be excreted as uric acid. So there is a certain amount of protein that can be absorbed by the body of the chicken. So if you decide just that you're giving it a lot more of protein in it, and you're thinking that the body of the chicken will be able to absorb it, then guys, the body of the chicken won't be able to absorb that, and that will just be a wastage of resources. So that is the money, because the protein is very expensive and you won't be able to get something out of this. You may end up finding out that your chicken may have this sudden death. So only if you are rearing your chicken so that they can be able to be slaughtered, then you are good to go. You'll be able to get something out of this venture. So I want to tell you how you can be able to make 100 kg of broiler finisher mash. Whole maize, you need 43.64 kgs. Soybean meal, you need 22.55 kgs. Wheat, you need 10 kgs. Rice polish, you need 10 kgs. Meat and bone meal, you need 9 kgs. Salt, you need 250 grams. Methionine, you need 180 grams. Lysine, you need 30 grams. The broiler premix, you need 250 grams. Palm stroke canola oil, you need 4 kgs. Then choline chloride, you need 100 grams. If you are able to do all these that I've told you in this video, then you can be able to make yourself the broiler finisher mash. And if you are able to do that, then you can be able to save a lot of money out of this. Because in this sector, most farmers usually cry out so loud. There are only two things that can really defeat you in a poultry. Because the biggest thing that I can say is that those very viral diseases like the Newcastle disease, those are the only bad thing that can affect your poultry farm. The other ones like typhoid, coccidiosis, those you can treat them with the antibiotics. Those ones are easy to manage. But if your flock can be attacked by a viral disease, that is only the bad part of it. And also the other cases whereby you find that most farmers usually cry about the high cost of feeds because of the high cost of protein. That is also another thing, Those are the only two big things that can affect a poultry farmer, because if you have all those two things, the other things you can be able to manage. For example, the market, if you are just a very aggressive advertiser, a very aggressive person who can do sales, then you will be able to sell all of those chicken. If you just get away from the comfort zone, then you can be able to make a living out of poultry farming. That's why most of my videos I usually try to educate people on things that will make sense in their life. I just don't yap around and tell you things that won't be able to be beneficial to you. I'm not here to become a rising star. I'm here so that I can be able to educate you guys and also document my journey as a poultry farmer. So as even if I am somehow wealthy in future, they must know that I followed the grind. I follow the grind so that I can be where I will be in future. It's not that I'll be able to be skipping some scenes in life. I will have followed the grind from the bottom to the top. So that's why I keep on encouraging farmers, because I told you I started with 50 chicken. If I was able to start with 50 chicken and now I can be able to have such within just a span of 3 to 4 years, what about 10 years? What about 15 years? It's only about the determination, and that is what I usually keep on telling people. So guys, if you really need to know how you can be able to do profitable poultry farming, make sure you keep on watching my videos. Let me show you some of the laying nests that we made on our poultry farm. So these are some of the laying nests. The first mistake that I made is that when we made the other laying nest over there, we found out that the chicken won't go up to the third step. So we decided that we will only make 2-step laying nest. And if you are able to do this, we are using the wood shavings here as our bedding. The wood shavings is what we are using as our bedding here, and that is able to give us clean fertilized eggs. Remember, our fertilized eggs are for the purposes of incubation, so we don't need floor eggs, because if you are using floor eggs in the incubation, you may end up finding out that that can lead to infections of the other egg that you have kept in the incubator. If that can lead to that infection of other eggs that is kept in the incubator, because you know when the chicken poop down here, they have some microorganism and some microorganism causing diseases that are found in here. So when you take such an egg and you incubate it, when there is a humidity in the incubator and the fan is rotating, it will be able to transmit those other microorganisms onto other eggs, and that can lead to infection causing diseases on your hatching in the long run. So if you are able to put good laying nest like this one, then you will be able to prevent such cases from occurring on your poultry farm. And that comes to biosecurity. So when you end up selling day-old chicks to farmers, you really know what you're selling to your farmers. You are not second guessing of what you are doing. So that's why I usually also tell you guys, if you really need quality day-old chicks, make sure you order from us. We are able to hatch around 3,000 chicks every week. So guys, don't be left behind. We can hatch up to 3,000, even we have a hatching capacity which can reach 10,000. But you're starting with 3,000 chicks per week, so that we can be able to supply to you guys. It doesn't depend on the country that you are. You can be in Kenya, you can be in Uganda, in Tanzania, the 3 East African countries, even South Sudan. We can be able to supply to you quality day-old chicks. So guys, support the hustle. We are telling you, we are not skipping scenes. We are following the grind, and we have to reach on top there. We have to become top billionaires in the poultry sector like Li Yongjing. So guys, if you haven't watched my video on how you can be able to make feeds for your layers chicken, make sure you click up here. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.